All right. So, yeah, let's just get started. So, this is a quote unquote one shot. I'm running this adventure today because Drone is going on a trip. And I didn't want to just let things be hanging since we've just all made it through some pretty significant encounters on Korriban slash Moraband, a very nasty, dark side infested world, the ass end of the galaxy. Um, and I also had some questions about okay, how the heck do we leave a place like that and make it back to home base? So the idea behind this was to answer that part of the story and also to wrap up some loose ends from Chronicles of the Gatekeeper. In particular, one certain individual who is currently locked away in the Sunrise. Um, I think we left him with most of his belongings. He probably has. I think Zep gave him his lightsaber back, and Alice gave him the his own diary back. So now he can look through it and reflect on all of his feelings. And he's kind of in the brig, being guarded or maybe not guarded. I'm really not sure how the security works. Maybe that's a good question for Darius. How does the security work for prisoners on the Sunrise?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely guarded. I mean, we have a squad of troopers aboard, so
How many troopers are going to be guarding this poor soul?
um, assume you can't really station more than two out of a room without it becoming excessive. So probably two.
Yeah, I just have this mental picture of like six troopers right in front of the door, kind of all like staring at him through the bars.
I would honestly have told them like play cards or something, right? Like just slide it under the door. I don't know. Like I'd have been like, be relaxed. Just don't let him out.
Does the cell have bars, or is it like all futuristically and Star Warsy, sci-fi-y like force field thing?
I would have made it just a door. Like, there's need to make things dependent on power for no reason. I'm a better engineer than Star Wars is.
So I still have a lightsaber, yet I'm barred by a door.
Your lightsaber also doesn't work.
I mean, yeah, but at the same time, like, if you have a lightsaber, who cares if it's a force field? Cut a hole in the fucking wall, right? Like,
Yep.
the whole of Star Wars makes no sense in that regard.
Yeah, so we're getting there. Is the door going to have like a viewport in it? Is there like some way of him, Markov, being able to see the outside world? Can he see the couple of rebel troopers playing? What's the hot new game the kids are playing? Fortnite, I guess.
Star Wars Fortnite.
Space Fortnite. I don't know. Are you asking me or are you asking Darius because it's his ship?
I'm asking Darius. He just dropped out of Roll20, so he might be disconnecting. Okay, so I'm going, just for sake of time, I'm gonna say that the doors are like half of it is maybe transparent steel. Like you have a good window in it. They want to be able to see what you're doing, so you're not, I don't know, trying to dig your way out or trying to create a bomb or something like that. So total visual obfuscation is probably not what the engineers had in mind when they built this prison cell. On the other hand, the walls themselves, as well as the rest of the door, are solid. But you do see a couple of rebel troopers, Markov, gazing outside of your window. The days passing by. A while ago, you felt like something shifted in gravity. You know, the ship was kind of rumbling a bit. If you had this type of ship voyage experience before, you could probably tell that it was entering atmosphere. But things have been stationary for a while, and the troopers are there dealing each other cards. On your possession are your robes, whatever prison toiletries they've afforded you, your lightsaber that Zep gave you before, and the diary that you kept, which Alice was nice enough to give you. Or rather, that mysterious person in the helmet never takes it off. So, also, this time frame is before the conclusion of our adventure last week. So you're kind of there, you're in your cell, you're kind of bored, you might be reading through your journal. Tell me what you do.
So, I mean, I'm probably just like flipping through the diary because I have very little else to do. Otherwise, like, Markov isn't the type of person who would meditate or anything like that. He's either like pacing around his cell, like, I sort of imagine him being the type of person who like will sort of talk to himself out loud about things, and like work through shit like that verbally, like his internal conflict or whatever, when he's not reading through that journal thing. Yeah, he's just wasting time basically.
How does he feel about the coup that happened back on the bird planet?
I'm gonna say he's sort of conflicted because on the one hand he has, and I think the majority of him feels like he was like unrighteously evicted from his throne on the throne at Arboine. But there's some small part of him that's like, this group of people is out to find something, and they wanted to have this kyber crystal, and this kyber crystal points them in the direction of Soldier Ward. So they must be after something of his, and if they're looking for something that belonged to him, and since I have like such a connection to him, like there's a small part of me that maybe thinks maybe that they're doing something sort of like on the up and up, and that maybe they're not that bad, but I think most of me is still resentful.
Mm-hmm. So as you're having those thoughts, you feel something. You feel a sense of loss, a sense of grief. And just when you feel that, the lights on the ship start to flicker.
Is it like a millions of souls crying out type of sense of loss, or?
No, it's lost.jpg. No, it's just one.
Oh no.
You were thinking about, you're reading your diary, you're like, wow, I'm going to find out what happened to my long lost friend, and these folks are on his trail. But something then tells you that this happy reunion will never happen.
Oh no, my soldier boy is gone.
The lights flicker again. And the troopers outside are staring at each other. They're like, maybe we should check that out. Yeah. Hey, engineering? Engineering, hello? Hello? Hey, what's up with the power? And as they're doing that, your vision gets kind of tunneled. You're not focusing on anything in particular, but it seems that the periphery of your vision is starting to compress. And you might be reaching up at your head instinctively, kind of like, oh man, is it a migraine? Is it something happening? Am I not feeling well? Was it the prison food they gave me? I knew those rations were expired. I told them, you can't eat dried, expired jerky. But no, your vision's starting to tunnel, and now you're starting to wobble. Maybe you were pacing back and forth, trying to keep yourself occupied, trying to keep yourself active, but now you're finding it very difficult to stand. And your hearing starts sounding like it's slowly becoming underwater. When you're underwater, everything starts sounding muffled and kind of roaring. You can't really make out a whole lot. That's what's happening to you. What do you do?
I'm gonna try to pick some earwax out of my ear. Maybe it's like an actual stoppage.
Yep. You stick your finger in there. You do get some earwax. You can add that to your inventory. But no, you still feel bad.
Yeah, I think Markov doesn't know what to do in a situation like this. He's gonna maybe like start pounding on the door, maybe looking out that little transparent steel window and seeing what the guards are doing, see if they have like the same thing happening to them.
Yeah, you pound on the door. The guards don't pay attention to you. They're like, "What? What? No, shut up. Hey, we're trying to deal with an electrical situation here."
Oh, is it evident to me what kind of electrical situation there is?
Yeah, it's evident when everything just turns off. Now you're in total darkness.
Do I hear anything outside of the cell, or like sense anything outside of the cell?
You hear the roaring and the sounds of being underwater.
What about my vision?
Your vision is complicated by the darkness as well as it being tunneled as before.
Does Markov have any indication that the people outside have sort of lost control of things?
I think
like that everything outside the cell is not okay?
yeah, I think you might hear you see a flashing. It might be the ship's emergency systems. It might be something like an alarm or something. And as you're trying to make out what's happening, you see it's kind of like strobe light vision. Silhouettes of the guards leaving their card table and rushing out.
And we established, does my lightsaber work or does it not work?
I mean, unless the current GM wants to do something about that, Zeb gave Markov his lightsaber back without both a kyber crystal and a what was it, focusing lens. So even if you could get another kyber crystal, it would not work.
Yeah, so in character, do you try to turn it on?
Yeah, we'll say Markov, maybe like over the years he's come to rely on this thing that he's built himself based on like schematics or whatever that he found. He's going to try to turn it on.
Yeah,
Why not?
nothing happens.
He's going to curse to himself in basic.
Mm-hmm.
Criff.
Yep, too good to be true. Your captor handing you back a laser sword. But you hear a loud thud, and the door in front of you swings slowly open.
Do I see anything outside the door?
Nope. So right now the emergency lighting is gone up and everything's kind of bathed in a red glow. You do not see anyone outside.
Okay, so I had my lightsaber. Do I have that blaster that I had with me too, the light one?
Have you had any ability to conceal it upon your person?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, you don't have one.
All right. Markov, I think, would probably stay in his cell for like a moment as the door opens and see if he hears anything or sees any movement or anything in the darkness. And if he doesn't, then he would sort of gingerly move out of the cell.
Yep. So you kind of wait for a while, hear nothing, see nothing. Strange. It's like it's almost too quiet. And he gingerly exits his cell.
I'm gonna go over to where the Fortnite guards were. Did they leave, or do I like step over any bodies or anything?
Oh no, they left. They did leave, and they left their playing cards behind. Strangely enough, one of them left a little intercom earpiece on the table.
I put it on.
All right, you put it on. You hear some static, but occasionally you make out the words, engineering section, power regularity. Can't figure out what's happening. When's the boss coming back? Yeah, you hear those words too.
So no general indication that things are fucked up all over the ship.
Except for the power.
All right. If I can feel around in the darkness, can I find anything useful, like a torch or a weapon
Absolutely.
or a data pad?
Yep. So, in keeping with safety protocols in the galaxy, every so often there's a little emergency kit thing, like a little flashlight, some band-aids. It's kind of like, in Fallout, how every 3 feet you stumble upon a medicine thing with a stim pack and some purified water. It's kind of like that. You get a flashlight and some band-aids. Or a torch, because you're European.
Yep.
Sorry, I forgot. Okay, so yeah, I light the flashlight.
Cool. So in addition to the red glow that's permeating everything due to the emergency lighting, you now have a flashlight that shows white light. And you can see things in color again.
Do I see anything weird or out of the ordinary?
No, other than the emergency stuff happening, and so you kind of get a bearing on where you are. You have no idea how this ship is laid out, by the way. They kind of dragged you in here, threw you in the cell. Didn't give you a map of this place. The earpiece in your ear right now. Thankfully, you clogged. You got rid of the earwax before you put that in. But you still hear some garbled words. Seems like the crew's still having some problems with power. Then you hear laser fire.
Okay. I think once I hear that, I'm going to start to not panic a little bit, but get on edge. Is there anything in the room, like any sort of a weapons locker or anything like that, that would have emergency weapons or something like that?
Not around the prisoner's cell. Nope.
All right. Then I'm just gonna walk towards the door. Maybe put my ear up towards the door and see if I hear anybody in the hallway outside.
You do not, but you hear some more laser fire.
All right. I'm gonna try to open the door as quietly as I can and slink my way out into the hallway.
Mm-hmm. The door actually opens pretty slowly. So depending on your background on ships, it might be you might get the notion that we're on auxiliary power. Things aren't as fast as they are under full power. So this automatic door just opens kind of slow, but is also not very loud. And you are free to go to, well, you see a hallway, and there's one end of the hallway and the other end of the hallway. But before we get into your further adventures on board the ship, which is totally not in any danger, I'm going to cut to the rest of the party. And the time frame for the rest of the party is moments after your final encounter with Soldier Ward. I think Zep was arranging for some kind of ceremonial funeral, typical Jedi funerary rites. And I'm going to say that we're going to enter the scene right after those rites have occurred. So you lit the pyre. Zep probably said some nice words about him, and Soldier Ward returns to the Force.
Yeah, Zep wouldn't have said anything nice about him. He would have just stood there over the burning body.
Okay. He says nothing nice about him at all, and the body burns. And I'm going to say right now, our encounter took up most of the day. You also had to, gather some shrubbery or something. A bunch of kerosene, lit that sucker on fire. And sun's going down. You're really not sure how the sandstorms work on this planet, but something might be telling you, you might just have a guess that sheltering in place for the evening may be a good idea. But you can always check in with people who have hand scanners and such to confirm. But as Zep is looking at the glowing embers of this body, Alice comes up. And she's not wearing her helmet this time. She's also looking at the embers. And her question, almost kind of to herself, but also to Zep, is like, do you think this was all worth it?
Well, I think it's a little too early to tell, honestly. The fact that we have a holocron in our possession and it's no longer in the possession, or it can't be collected by someone who is completely unworthy. I think that is at least a few ticks in the win column.
Yeah, Alice nods, but her expression is still kind of concerned. And this scene, you have that classic smooth John Williams Star Wars overture, very contemplative. I'd play it right now, but I'm recording. And she nods to herself, and she's like, yeah, I'm hoping that we start notching up some more. Because the way he said that at the end was chilling. Like he wanted us to kill him. He saw it coming. And it was like he was controlling everything right up to the very end.
Well, he didn't see everything.
And that's a perfect cue to go to Gank. So Gank, you might be reconning the place. You're always very observant, very keen on keeping things secure. You might be higher up on the outside of this hut with a good vantage point. There are no fish on this planet, so you can't really collect any. And you might have your scanner out, your long-range scanner, or whatever you use to assess the environment. And you see this large mass of weather coming your way.
Well, I'll radio down, so we definitely want to stay in place. This looks like a bad one.
Yep. So everyone gets the news. And it's also, at the same time, Gunnis, you're trying to get in touch with the ship. You're kind of like, alright, we've been out here too long. I've waited for Zep to do his religious ceremony. We gotta get back in touch with the Sunrise. And all this time, you've been trying to hail them up on comms, but all you're getting is static.
Yeah, Giannis will cut in on the frequency to everyone and say something's going on.
Yep. And the wind's starting to pick up. The wind's picking up. The embers start to flow. Zep and Alice might get some ash in their eyes or something. They're like, oh, what the fuck? And folks likely make it indoors. You could try to ride out the storm outside. It's up to you. But I imagine folks going inside and weathering it out.
It's another force storm like when we fought the dogs.
No, after you're expecting that, right? You're like, oh no, not this again. But no dogs, no howling, no weird force visions. Time goes by, the wind picks up. You close the doors to the hut. You've battered whatever windows, because it's really windy. Battered any windows that are out there. Yes, there are plenty of Nazgul around. No, it's a sandstorm.
Okay.
So the sandstorm progresses, and it doesn't seem like it's dying down. At first, you guys are like, alright, yeah, it's one of these, maybe a short-lived storm. Folks are looking at their screens, maybe looking at the weather. Any sense that it's dying down? No, it's still going on. This gets you on kind of an edge. What do you want to do? Just to paint you the setting, you're in a house. I don't think you've searched everywhere exactly. There are multiple rooms. I think we did like a preliminary search. But I'm not sure. I think Alice might have went through his belongings in his bedroom. I'm not sure if you fully explored the place.
The entire like tomb area or whatever.
Yes.
I mean, if we're stuck here, I certainly would have ended up looking around.
Yep. Roll a perception for me. 3 purple. Yep. So you get some feedback, and it's like, oh, crap, Criff. Take some strain for that. But you do find a passageway underneath the structure. It was in the burial chamber, and the entrance that you found happened to be next to the sarcophagus that Soldier Ward had prepared for himself. You're not quite sure where it leads.
Well, I'll let people know and poke my head in.
Alright, everyone hears word of, hey, I found a passage. Gank pokes his head in.
Gunnis will pull out his structural scanner and start setting it up to try to do some scans to determine where the tunnel leads. And he'll also, like, while doing it, he'll sort of turn to Zeb and say, what do you think? Do you have is this just a bolt hole or something? What do you, like, you know what the guy's like better than me.
I don't have a clue what this is, but it seems to me like it's worth checking out.
Yep. And the fortunate thing is it's large enough for a hut, so
That's good.
good to know. So your structural scan, what's the range on that?
I don't remember. Let me look.
Oh, and all this time I imagine Arjun is like tending to Hrak, who is now struggling to regrow like the leg that he lost or something.
Yeah, I did get that row at the end of last session to fix them, but yeah, I don't know how long that takes, but
Yeah, I in my ADSC did not save a copy of it, so I don't know offhand. I would assume it's probably like short or medium.
Yeah. So we'll say like medium. Yeah, it's gonna take him 30 days. It's so short range. It's funny. So the structure, obviously constructed by this individual. Your keen eye of observation when it comes to all things engineering informs you that for a distance, maybe of several meters, Yes, we're using metric. Past the entrance is man-made. Beyond that seems to be a natural cavern.
All announced everyone seems to connect to a natural cavern.
So time to go spelunking.
Is it time for adventure?
I think it's always
What
time for
direction does
adventure.
it lead?
If the storm isn't lighting up, it'd be interesting to know if this takes us anywhere useful.
That's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm thinking.
But what direction does it lead?
Say that again?
What direction does it lead?
Like cardinal direction or like up or down?
Well, where's the ship? Does it lead towards the ship?
No, not this first part. But you could peek down a little further to see where it eventually leads, or maybe your scanner will confirm that.
I'll say we can't go out in the storm. Let's see where this goes. I don't want to leave anything unturned here if we're stuck here anyway.
So you're sheltering in place.
Well, we're to the tunnel, so sort of.
Does anyone have any environmental like gear or anything that can detect atmosphere?
Not unless the scanner does.
All right. I will say that your scanner does detect wind in that cavern. There is a difference in air pressure.
And I do have outdoorsmen and stuff to trail blazer.
It may lead out. Let's see.
Yeah, if there's a breeze, well, hopefully it leads out. Otherwise, that's a very disturbing implications. Pretty large creature to generate a breeze in a cave this size.
Yeah, what are all these stalagmites? Oh, those are teeth. Alright, so if everyone's good with it, you can proceed, or you can stay and try and ride out the storm.
Oh, hey, 1 second. Let me actually use Force C to see if I can find out how long the storm is going to last.
Do it.
Okay. All right. So I am going to use Foresight, and I'm only going to use the light side pips, and I'll be able to pick out one detail within 24 hours, or one detail in my vision, and the vision is 24 hours.
Mm-hmm. So what I'm going to describe to you is the general vision that you receive. So you close your eyes and you open yourself up to the Force. And you're on this planet. It's been a hell of a week. Stuff is chaotic. That last encounter with Soldier Ward kind of shook you guys. But you maintain your calm. And you're able to see a vision. You see 4 dark shadows in what seems to be an artificial structure. You see smooth metal bulkheads. You see the glow of red. You hear eruptions, loud popping noises. And you smell the stench of death. What detail would you like to receive?
1 second. You said there were 4 figures?
Yep.
I'll go ahead and blow it on. Well, wait. The vision wasn't outside, was it?
It's hard to say. You receive a vision. It seems that it was a vision of something inside a structure.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll blow the the detail on whether or not there's the sound of high winds outside the structure.
You might hear something. It's really hard to tell. It's you hear like a rushing, but it's far more muted than what you guys were hearing inside the hovel before you all came down into this chamber.
Yeah, I think this is just kind of a forced cul-de-sac. So I'm gonna just open my eyes and shrug and say, yeah, let's check out, see where this goes. It can't be any it can't be any more boring than standing around here.
I will snap on a glow rod in one hand and my blaster in the other, and start walking down the tunnel. I'll tell everyone else to keep your eyes open.
Yep, everyone does. Cutting back to Drone. You are in the sunrise. You don't know it as the sunrise, but it's the ship. And you're kind of sneaking around, kind of on your tippy toes. Occasionally you hear the sounds of laser fire. And something else you're hearing. It's like it's a rushing sound. By now the headache is gone. By now your vision's kind of clearer. That was just one heck of a migraine. And your hearing's back to normal, but then you hear the rushing sound again, but this time it's not happening from inside of your skull. No, it's happening somewhere outside.
Is it like incredibly loud, or how am I hearing it if it's outside?
To the moviegoer, they're listening to the same sound that Zep heard in his vision. It's a muted, rushing. It's almost like rainfall, but a lot more static-y sounding.
So I think I'm going to try to get to a window of some type.
Yep. You find one. The window's right over there. You peek outside. Wow, it's really dark. And standing next to one of the portals, it's a storm.
But a storm that can knock out the power of the entire ship, and then also the blaster fire.
Yeah, unless this is like one of those crazy laser storms. But no.
So, like, very roughly, where am I on the diagram that Darius just linked on the ship?
Yeah, where's the brig, Darius?
Shit, I don't remember. Let me look it up.
Is that 7?
Yeah, that's a pretty spacious digs.
Yeah, I'd imagine it'd be like all those little rooms in 7. That looks the most briggish area in that picture.
Yeah, we could hold someone in. That's the enclosed cargo hold, so I guess that's probably where we would put somebody.
Mm-hmm.
The ship legitimately does not have a brig by default, so.
Oh, something to upgrade. Time to acquire the prison module.
So, I'm probably somewhere in like the hangar bay or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that you're in the main hangar right now, and you're looking at one of the maintenance portals. Probably when they're landing or unloading this ship, someone needs a visual on something outside. You're looking outside of that type of portal, and yeah, it's dark. Yeah, it's stormy. And holy cow, is that a lot of sand? Do you hate sand?
It gets everywhere. It's so coarse and rough. Okay. I steal Zeph's Starfighter. No, I'm kidding.
That would be hilarious.
I don't even know. Like, I honestly, if I were in the landing bay, I would be looking at those starfighters as a prisoner trying to escape and like using the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna check out the starfighters.
Cool. You check it out, and I think the heavy light had some hull trauma earlier. At least that's what I'm seeing in
Yeah.
level 20.
Yeah, it's pretty banged up.
Yeah, so you see it. It's pretty banged up. It looks like repairs were in progress. Funny thing, you see some tools scattered about. But it's almost like someone dropped these things and ran somewhere. Like, you see a fusion cutter, it's on the ground. You see some data pads that are actually still on. And the indication, you get the sense that whoever was working on this plane couldn't have left here that long ago.
Mm-hmm. So the two questions in my mind: number one, can any of these tools be used as a weapon?
Yes, the fusion cutter.
Okay, I'm gonna grab that. And number two, do either of the two starfighters have any power?
What's your mechanic skill?
It is 0.
Terrific. Well, you can roll anyway. For power, it's 2 purple. You're like, starships, how do they work?
And with the advantage, I don't know. I would take a narrative advantage on that.
All right.
If you have one.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, so you don't have any indication of if they're fueled or unfueled. What I will say is that you see some cables running from both of the ships into a large type of machine. So they're currently connected to something. They're cabled to something.
Okay, well, Markov has no mechanics, so he doesn't know if these things, if like these cables are going to kill him if he touches them or what. So he's not going to touch the cables, but he's maybe going to go over to the thing that they're connected to and maybe take a look at what it is. Is it like a power generator or a computer terminal?
Yeah, it's not a computer terminal. No, it's completely non-ostentatious. It is emitting a low hum. Yeah, you get the sense that it's something related to power.
Does it have like a display on it or anything?
I would say, because it's Star Wars, you see some blinking lights.
Do the blinking lights indicate anything to me whatsoever? Me, a layman who doesn't know anything about ships.
Yeah, you're like, lights blinky. One of them looks red. That light is blinking. I don't know, is red good or bad?
Probably bad, but since I'm a dark side user, maybe it's good.
Maybe. Maybe this machine is also a dark side user.
Which one's blinking red?
So there's a couple of lights out there. They're not labeled, so you get the sense that whoever uses this often knows it well enough to not have any notes around. So you just see a couple of lights, and one of them's red and it's blinking. You see a white one and it's solid. But as you're investigating this machine, you hear footsteps. Actually, you hear multiple footsteps.
Right. I brandish the laser cutter thing that I'm holding, and I try to find some cover somewhere so I can hide.
Okay. You find some cover and you hide. Roll me a stealth. And let's see. Let me pull up the difficulty. I'm gonna make this fun. 3 red.
Okay. I'm gonna upgrade.
Do it.
But since I'm a dark side user,
Oh, you can anyway. It only comes into play when generating force pips and using force powers. So you should be at 6 dark, 1 light now? Just double checking.
but if a dark side user uses it, doesn't it go the opposite direction?
I think it's still light to dark when affecting narrative stuff.
Okay.
It's weird like that. Yeah, even when generating force powers, it's kind of weird.
Well, otherwise you could just have two force users, one light side, one dark side, and they keep flipping only when it benefits them. So
Yeah,
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think like the Destiny point in terms of narration is more like GM and player. So when I introduce a narrative thing, it's me flipping dark to light. But when a player does it, it's the other way around. Alright. So you huddle, you're like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm not gonna be visible to find out. What you see are 4 figures. They enter into the hangar. And you're not sure if they've seen you or heard you or whatever. But they're clad in this armor. Have you seen a stormtrooper before?
Yes, I had them at my parties.
Okay. So you've seen Imperial laminate party animal armor before.
Yep.
These look a lot more sinister. They're also black.
Hmm.
And these folks are also kinda tall. And they're entering the room, blasters at the ready, scanning the room. And you're not sure if they saw you yet.
How many of them are there?
4.
What am I using as cover?
Let's see. I'm gonna say it's a crate full of zip drives. Just happen to be next to some other crates. So you're, as far as the ship layout is concerned, they've entered down where the number 17 is, which was not the entrance you used because you were in room number 7. But there's like a stack of crates, spare parts, zip drives, redundant cabling that you could use. And at first, you're like, all right, I'm good. I just gotta keep quiet. And you're leaning on one of the crates, and it makes a noise. And all 4 swing their blasters around towards your spot.
Oh, Chris.
And as your heart leaps into your throat, I'm gonna cut to the other party. So, other party, you're now at the entrance of this cave. It's not a magical piss cave, but it's a cave. What do you do?
Does the wind appear to be coming from a direction that would take us closer to where we'd want to be?
Yeah, so you take out your scanners, maybe you and Gunnis are like trading notes. Yeah, it seems like artificial up to here and natural cavern past this point. I'm gonna so do you folks have like I know Gunnis probably does an engineering background. It'll let you determine the answer to that question essentially. What knowledge do you want to roll for that?
I can't lick a finger and see what direction it goes. I was thinking
okay.
survival.
Yeah, survival works.
Yeah, he's way better suited for that.
Yep, you lick your finger, point it up in the air. Let's do it old school. I mean, these methods never fail. Roll against 3 purple.
Not sure I've ever succeeded a survival check, but let's see if today works. Barely.
All right, I'm gonna say, so you succeed. The wind, the breeze that you feel in this cavern is leading away from where you guys came in, so it's leading outwards. But I'm gonna say for the threat, the door closes behind you.
Or the door into like the hut's door or what?
So it depends. How many of you guys are now in the cavern?
Zep is.
Seems we all were.
Yeah, we're all in there. I mean, we said
Alright.
we were going down exploring, so.
Yep. So you decide to evacuate the house. You're out there. You're down there right now. The door slides shut.
Is the door like, oh, is it gonna be hard to open again, or is it not even, or is it nothing special?
You take a cursory look. This door's made out of stone. It doesn't have a doorknob.
All right.
If we have to
Okay.
go back, we can cut our way through. But
Yeah, so we could probably force it if we had to.
You have a Jedi with you. He could probably use his mind.
Also, hut with 6
Well,
brawn.
let's see what's ahead before we make any decisions here.
All right. So you proceed. Sure enough, it's a natural cavern. But it's a strange natural cavern. So number one, you didn't expect it to be lit the way it is. It's also very temperate in here. There's light in this room, and it's not like evil red force light. No, it's like a bluish, whitish kind of glow. And it's coming. You eventually like look around, like where the heck is this coming from? With the assistance of your glow rods, and it's coming from this moss that's coating some of this cave. This luminescent moss. And the breeze is now a bit stronger. And now you can probably get a better reading of this cave. So the cave actually does lead upwards. But it's gonna take... You see at the incline that it's rising upwards? You say it's gonna take quite of a walk to get where you want to get to, if this does lead up to the surface.
Guess we start walking.
Sentient life forms. Are moss sentient?
So I can sense at extreme, and I still have a pip to read thoughts.
Nice. You sense one among the ones that are with you.
You mean I sense one sentient being at extreme range in addition to my friends?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try and read his or her thoughts. What is the discipline on that?
So I'm gonna make this interesting. Tell me what your ability pool is, and I will roll this handful of dice.
It's going to be 1 boost, 2 yellow, and 2 green.
Hello. What have we here?
Oh, hello there.
That's what you read.
Oh, cool. All right. So Zep is going to say, but also, how far away was it? I mean, was it like short distance or medium or what?
Does the power let you gauge distance?
I mean, I would assume that as I'm sweeping out, I can kind of almost use it like ping, like, all right, nothing at short, nothing at medium, nothing at long, nothing at extreme.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, you can estimate it. I mean, like say, between short and medium or short and long even. But I would probably know if it was at extreme.
Yeah, so you're like using this power, you're channeling the force, and the level of effort that you're channeling is like, yeah, the higher it goes, the more extensive the range is. It's pretty far away. Yeah, I would say it's at extreme.
All right, so Zep is going to ignite his lightsaber and step forward and say, "Guys, we are not completely alone here." And then is going to just kind of think to himself, like kind of thinking really hard, like, "Hello, what we have here is a mild mannered force user."
Who are you calling a mild mannered force user? Oh, that voice sounded
Different voice.
Of course, yes.
Zep is just going to sigh and say, "All right, it's too crowded in here. Let's just keep going. There's someone. I can't tell if he's alive or another force spirit, but we have another force manipulator to contend with at some point in the near future. Just so everyone knows."
Yep, Alice nods. She's like, "Well, wow. I thought force users were rare. Is everyone just, I don't know, is there like a convention going on or something?"
Well, this is kind of a beacon of dark side energy, so I'd imagine that it probably draws a bunch of dark side wannabes here, like moths to a flame.
Figures. Yep, she gets ready. And everyone else, you're gearing up for war? Hrak is like being pulled on a stretcher.
Yeah, Gunnis will sort of he'll holster his pistol and continue to hold his glow rod in one hand.
Alrighty. So do you well, you really have one direction to travel in. This cave isn't turning left, it isn't turning right. So how forward do you want to go? Want to just keep walking until you encounter this mystery individual?
Yeah, Zep is more interested in exploring this area while, I mean, because moving above land isn't really going to work. So he's just going to kind of keep moving deeper, and he might try and stay a little bit ahead of everyone else. And he's actually going to kind of activate his sense power. So he's committing one force die to that.
Got it. What color was your lightsaber again?
The one I'm using now is actually green.
Okay. So mixed in with the blue glow of the cave, you got some green flame. No, green light from his lightsaber. Illuminating the darkness along with Gunnis's glow rod and whatever people's environmental scanners are going on. And you're walking, and yep, it's an uphill walk. Right now, you're close enough to the surface that your scanners that have detected the weather system above you now also seem to indicate that the weather is dying down. And the breeze from the outside that you picked on up before is now like a little stronger. So it's like you're coming closer to the natural entrance of a cave. And it's still dark. This is kind of like around midnight, according to your, whatever the Star Wars equivalent of a watch is. And as you get closer to the cave entrance, your scanners / lights / unaugmented vision. Hey, there's an individual. He has robes on. He's
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, he's kind of like not crossing his arms, but he's like he has his hands clasped together, and he's kind of just standing there. And you're not quite close enough to pick out visual features, and it's also kind of dark, but hey, you see a figure.
I guess Zep turns to everyone else and just kind of like shrugs, like, you guys want to just attack him, or do you want to try talking first? I mean, I think you all know me well enough to know what my first inclination is.
We don't need to kill everyone we meet immediately.
Well, think about where we are.
That's true. Is he even a person? It could just be another ghost.
I don't know. What do you guys think? My vote is to talk first, but I don't know if you're all getting sick of that yet.
At least hear it out, I guess.
Gus shrugs and steps forward and says, "Who are you doing down here?"
Yes, so Drone, I have a backstory question for you.
Sure.
Did the Inquisitor on Cato Nemoidia have a name?
The one that you posed as, or?
Yes.
I mean, I would think that would be up to you guys.
We'll call him Third Brother.
That's a weird name.
Well, Inquisitors are number / brother or sister. And that will be his response. You may call me the Third Brother. I don't know why this is a question, because one of you posed as me. I flew all the way from Cato Nemoidia to meet the esteemed individuals that would dare impersonate my good name. And what have we found? A barren rock. And you folks.
Well, we did kill a Jedi down that way. Zep points down the corridor.
I guess I do have that to thank you for, because that is my mission. But you also are in possession of a lightsaber, I see. And as we all know, good citizens of the Empire, possession of a kyber crystal is punishable by annihilation.
Zep is going to kind of look around and say, wait, so it's just you?
Of course it's just me. After all, I came here to talk.
Ooh, see, I really want to kill you now.
Interested in talking, and by that I mean you can surrender now, but I don't have any time for anything else.
On the contrary, I think you have all the time in the world. I don't think your ship is going anywhere.
Board now, give us your lightsaber.
He's like, what? No.
Yeah. Come on. We just killed one ancient Jedi. We're gonna now take out one of the Emperor's lapdogs. I think you know how this is gonna go.
That reminds me, are we like healed at all from last time?
Yeah, I'm gonna say you guys are. So full
Okay.
wounds, full strain, except for Frack. Let's say for narrative purposes, and also TBG's not here. He's on a stretcher, kind of like semi-conscious.
Right.
Yeah, Gunnis will just last chance. Surrender or work through you.
Zep is actually gonna say, "Please don't surrender."
Gunnis will look at Zep like confused.
Alice probably senses a combination of hate and fear radiating outward from Zep, but he doesn't outwardly look any different.
Does he see anything?
So what he does in response to your demands, and also because I don't think it's fair for me to like play both sides of this combat that is about to ensue, just in case anyone hasn't guessed by now. He extends his hand. Alice goes flying back into the cavern. Multiple meters, football fields. Boom! She's gone.
Yep. All right. Lightsaber ignites.
Yeah, I guess. Just real cool then.
There's your answer.
I'm gonna
Yep.
go through him and grab the
Roll the cool, because you knew it was coming.
Not me though, right?
No, you are in deep shit. But because I want to keep this interesting, how many light side points do you have left? Destiny points.
1.
I can let you flip that if you want to remain hidden and make it out of that hangar without getting blown to bits by 4 death troopers.
I mean, I don't want Markov to die.
Do you really?
But I also don't want to screw the rest of you guys.
I don't think it will. You did fail your stealth roll. They do know where you are. They're tiptoeing closer to you. And you're like, heart's pounding, gotta move, gotta get out of here. Do you have any kind of force power that lets you skate by? Do you have like, I don't know, touch of fate or something that we can use to give you a way out of the situation?
I do have Touch of Fate, yeah.
Right, I'll tell you what. Roll a perception for me, 3 purple, to find another way out of this place. While you're doing that, I'm going to count your initiative. So player. How many are you guys are in combat? So Golgis, no, Arjun, Gank, Zep, Gunnis. All right.
Yep.
Okay, so good news for poor Markov. You do find a tunnel. It's not like a literal tunnel, but there, amidst these crates of zip drives, there just so happens to be a way out through them. And you're desperate at this point. You just bolt through that little makeshift exit. You reach another door, and by this time the death troopers are like, and they say this through the garbled voice boxes, you know, you can't really make out a lot of the words. It sounds really alien to you, but somewhere in the hissing and the garbling you hear the words stop. And they
violated the law.
Yes. Pay the fine or serve your sentence. Couple of blaster bolts go, but you're just booking it. All pretense of stealth has disappeared, and you reach the door, hit the button a couple of panic times, and again, auxiliary power. Doors kind of slow to open and shut back down again, but by the time they rush over to where you were, you've made it out. But it doesn't prevent them from opening the door back up again, so what do? You do have a fusion cutter.
I mean, so am I outside now, or am I in the corridor now?
You are, let's see, where's the map? I'm gonna say you are north of 7, so you're in that corridor now. You see a staircase. The door's behind you, so you're just in that room. The death troopers are at the other side of that door, and they're trying to open it.
Isn't that the staircase that goes out?
I don't know, is it?
Darius? The staircase just north of 7?
That goes up to the catwalk. That leads to all the major places.
All right, I am going on the catwalk.
All right.
Yeah, on the catwalk.
Exciting catwalk. This is just like Empire Strikes Back. So you're on the catwalk. Meanwhile, oh, and did you want to do anything to the door? Hint, hint.
Oh, I fusion cut the controls, I guess.
Great. Terrific. Good choice. You do that, and the door jams. And it's only like a narrow gap of the door that's open. But you're doing that, and almost like as a cheap movie scare, Death Trooper's eye visor pops into that gap. It's like, oh. And it, it spooks you, and you make your way to the catwalk. Alright, other party. Alice is she got punted. You guys are at the ready with combat. So is he. So how it's gonna work is NPC, 4 players, NPC. Because he is a nemesis. And he's going to draw his lightsaber. So he lights it. And he lights it again. And he just stands there. And he's saying, there are 2 ways to do this. There's the easy way and the hard way, and I guess we're doing things the hard way.
That would be my wish, yes. Zep just takes one dramatic step forward and tries to activate Protect.
All right, roll the pips.
All right, yeah, so probably what the Inquisitor sees is a field of energy kind of shimmer around Zep. And Zep just stands there grinning at him. Oh, and I'll take a defensive stance, and that'll be it for my turn.
All right. The Inquisitor's like, oh, okay, well, somebody's studied. Who's up next? Another player.
I'll pull my lightsaber and go to work.
All right. Right now you are at, I want to say, long range. Yeah, he's like, well, someone hasn't studied. That's not how you hold that.
I have lightsaber 3. Fuck. It's not a you let.
Yeah, trust me, he doesn't need a stance or a style. He's fine.
I'm going to maneuver twice, suffering strain for the second one to get to short range.
Yeah, so long to medium is 2 maneuvers. Medium
Okay,
to short is 1 maneuver.
Then I'll just go to medium, and then I will use my action for Motivator.
For what?
Bad Motivator.
Oh, okay. Do it.
My stance might be tricky, but your lightsaber definitely is.
Nice. So tell me what the implications are.
Now this is subject to GM approval, but it causes the target device to spontaneously fail. So what I would like is to short out one of the ends of his lightsaber. Still has a lightsaber, can't use it the way he wants.
All right. What's the triumph for?
I'd just like to use that to make it even more difficult for him to repair it during combat if he tries to.
All right. Yeah, so he's like, he's in his whatever stance, and one of the ends just flickers and dies, and he's like, oh, this blasted planet with its sand probably clogged the emitter. Oh well, I still have one laser.
That's me. That's my turn.
All right, next player.
I probably want to wait until he moves closer to us, so I'll go after him, I'm thinking.
I could snipe at him, I guess.
All right.
Long is what, 3?
Yep. And it's upgraded 3 times.
Any defense?
Let me check. 1.
All right, 2 roll, 3 upgrades, 1 defense. I will aim and fire. Way the heck down here. All right. Fascinating.
Pass on some boost.
God damn it.
So the battlefield lights up. Holy cow, there's some Rambo shit happening here.
Then this is a slug thrower.
Okay. Well, same thing. Rambo, yeah, he didn't have a laser gun. So impressive fire. The other guy's like, well, wow, that's loud.
It's got a suppressor.
Okay. Wow, that wasn't as loud as I thought. Next player.
Darn. All of us go before him?
Yep. I mean, you could delay, I guess, but then your slot or whatever that slot goes just after the NPC.
He's so far away, and I can only move one per turn. I almost might want to delay until after him, honestly.
Yeah, you're just gonna charge slowly or just protect track.
I'll delay for now and see what he does before going.
Got it. All right. So what he does is he walks. He walks and is now at short range from Gunnis because Gunnis was the furthest forward. And what he's going to do is this to Gunnis. Gunnis, what is your discipline or resilience?
3 yellows.
Cool.
Oh, and a boost die.
And a what?
Boost die as well.
Sorry, you broke up.
I have a boost die.
Got it. So that's a setback for him. So I have good news and bad news for you. The good
Playing
news...
football with Alex now?
Yeah. The good news is if this were a sport, and if you were the ball, you would have definitely scored some home runs. The bad news is you could also go flying. So you are a silhouette 1 creature. And a silhouette 1 creature does 10. You can soak this, by the way. You go into one of the large stalagmites coming up from the ground. So you're not like... I will say you're 1 range band away from where you were, so now it's going to take you 2 maneuvers to get back into short again. No, to get back to medium again, because you were at short. And this is going to deal... Go ahead.
Did he move forward short?
Yeah, he did. He stepped forward. That was his maneuver. His action was to move you. And you were deeply moved. I think this works out to 13 damage.
Cool. Well, I soaked that, and my armor goes up. So we damage that, and yep. And so I am prone and another remand away, so it's gonna take me 2 to get back to shore.
Yep, so he goes flying. Luckily, he's stopped by a wall, but unfortunately, that triggers the reactive plating. For a moment, you thought he exploded, but then you all remembered, oh, no, it's his armor.
He's not skeet shooting.
Alright, now it's the last player.
Alright, still no one's really hurt. I guess I'll get as close. I only can do 1 move for a maneuver, so I guess that gets me within short of him, so I can get to him next turn then, right?
Yeah, so you were all at long, which means if you move 1, you're gonna be kind of halfway between long and medium.
But he moved closer though, right?
Oh, he did, so you will be at medium. You'll be at medium range if you take 1 maneuver.
Yep. I can't do it if my action is turned in, really, so...
Yep.
That's it.
Cool. Also, time check. Did people want to take a break now? Because this combat's gonna go for a bit.
Yeah, if we need to, the perfect time probably. The middle of the session.
Yeah, after round 1, I'm good. Taking a break.
Okay. So yeah, it is the top of the round. So why don't we say, take 5, come back at 12:45 around, and we will continue this
Sounds good.
encounter.
All right.
Chickens.